Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Legends of Arcadia Genesis. Nyx has borrowed some of these workmen, and they will haul her stuff near her cave and let her take the rest of the stuff on the way in. But this does produce like a bit of an interesting moment where they like help you haul the stuff into the woods, and they're a little spooked out about it, but they trust that you're not going to put yourself in danger. But then like they get close to the cave and they kind of want to see what's inside of it. You know, like come all the way out here into the woods, well past the line of demarcation. This is sort of enemy territory, but you clearly live here. They kind of want to know what's inside the cave. So they put the stuff down, and one of the guys begins to meander in that direction.
I'll say, hey, where are you going? I said here is perfectly fine.
Looks longingly at the cave and wanders back in the other direction.
So I look at these two guys. I'll cross my arms and I'll say, so are you two men of faith?
Well, I mean, Malchus gave us a holy shovel, personally. So yeah. Yeah.
But you do know that there are other gods out there.
Yeah, there's Verasi, who's trying to kill us, and there's Malchus, who's trying to save us.
So is it only those two?
I think there's some others, but I haven't seen hide nor head nor tail of them or whatever. They're just... like, if a tree falls in a forest, does it really make a sound? You know? Presuming no one's around to hear it.
I'm pretty sure it does.
It's a deeper philosophical question. It's not about whether it actually makes noise or not.
It's easy. Just because you're not there to perceive it doesn't mean things don't happen.
But like, do they even matter if they're not going to impact your life? Right? Isn't that the concept of like
that
universe?
That wasn't the question, though, was it? You didn't ask, does it matter if a tree falls around in the forest if nobody's around?
Let me say, I have faith in Malchus. I don't have faith in any of the others.
All right, then.
Oh, and Jexel. That guy was pretty cool.
Jexel?
Mm-hmm.
That is... Oh, the dude with the wine. I remember.
Yeah, Malchus's son.
Does Malchus have any other children?
Probably. Right, that guy gets around? I bet he's got a lot of kids.
Yeah, I mean, with his charming attitude, I bet he does. Well, I do appreciate you two making the way out here, and I can only advise you to not step your foot, back here again, because this is actually quite the dangerous place. And without me around, you might not enjoy it as much.
So you're gonna walk us back to the edge of the woods to make sure we're safe?
Oh. No. You'll be just fine. Just make sure you hurry, don't slow down too much, otherwise the spiders might get you, but, steady pace is what I advise.
Well, they go. Quick and steady.
Nice. And I guess I start hauling the stuff into the cave, have a look around. What does it look like in here? Is it empty?
Well, no, it's got some stuff in it from where you had stuff last time before. There's like a bedroll and maybe some like shelves that have been carved into the side of the rock here and there. There's not a lot of stuff in here. It's pretty sparse. There's like some rocks arranged in what would be a cooking pit, and some smoke stains on the ceiling. Maybe like a blanket, an old blanket lying around.
Yeah. I think Nyx walks over to the spot where she woke up last time from being unconscious for several days, and she'll look, and there's probably still, the ground is probably still slightly stained with like dark reddish brown where she lost all that blood. And she just remembers that voice of Abaddon in her head, which was like, should have left you to die there, witch. And she kicks the dirt away from the place, and she starts cleaning up to a new year and a new beginning. And She's gonna spend her time here by herself. She doesn't want to be in the house where everybody else is rummaging around, or where Malka's is just sitting in the kitchen all day, apparently waiting for everybody else but her. So, yeah, she's upgrading the cooking place. She's laying out some sheepskin to have it nice and cozy, setting up the fire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, placing a barrel where she can collect rainwater outside.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't have to walk to the river all the time if she doesn't feel like it. Yeah.
Nice. Well, you get your little cave all set up, nice and cozy like. Arrange your stuff as needed. Day passes fairly gently and pleasantly. Are we? Let's see. We started around here, and it took 3 days to get there. And we're here on the 21st, so it's the day after the new moon. You can see the comet of Vorasi is leaving the world. She'll soon be gone. You don't have a religion proficiency, do you?
No, I would only know that it's Vorasi because I think somebody pointed it out last time. They said that she was leaving, right? So I'm just looking. I guess with some water in my hand, I'm just looking at her leaving the horizon. You know. Nyx is always a little bit conflicted because she knows that Vorasi is the enemy. She's not an idiot, and she'd never bond with her over anything. But she's also very strong goddess, very feared, and pretty impressive. And she seems to be somebody who has their shit together, you know, and that's something Nyx admires and dislikes in Malka's a lot of the times. And she knows that this is only a short break from before things are getting more complicated once again. But it also makes her question what else is out there. She knows that Abaddon went off to, you know, find himself or something like that. You said something about, you know, making up his mind about his own future and going on a path of self-discovery and all those grand words. I mean, in Nyx's mind, he's just going for a stroll somewhere, but, you know, whatever he's up to. Can't be that impressive, really, can it?
Right.
So yeah, she's in her cave now and she's thinking, okay, I'm not really ready to take on this quest of Malka's, not right now. I don't know what it is that keeps me back from him, but it's just every time I see him, I just feel so put off by him and his concept and everything that he stands for.
Did you just call Malchus, god of chaos, off-putting?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's by herself in her cave, you know? She's not saying that aloud.
Right, right.
Like, why? And she's pondering, why would a god like this create somebody who's, first of all, for them entirely forgettable? You know, somebody you wouldn't look out for, you wouldn't want to protect, you wouldn't seek out actively. But also somebody who's questioning you so much. You know, why would you be like, I want to make this person who inherently dislikes me the second she sees me? Why would you do that?
And yet he did.
Yeah.
To what end? It's clearly not self-serving. This isn't helping him in any way. Is it possible that he created y'all for purposes other than his own self-gratitude and what do you call it? Like when you make something more grand than it should be? Grandiose? No. Is it
Grandeur?
word? Maybe. You know, maybe the creation of the five of you wasn't about improving his lot or making him more likable or having people run around to worship him and follow him and bite at his heels. Maybe his plans are less self-serving than that.
Yeah, and I think that's another point. Nyx just feels that he's not being honest with them. You know? She does understand that for some, in her mind at least, being a human in comparison to a god is like somebody having a puppy, right? You might like them and you might have picked them, but you don't really treat them as an equal, so you don't share everything with them. You're clearly saying you're not getting on the couch, right? And that's what gods do all the time. So she feels a little, she finds that a little upsetting. She understands the concept, but she'd also like a little bit of honesty sometimes, and she'd like to be accepted for what she is instead of just feeling like a pet that's being talked to whenever it pleases somebody, where the owner can just waltz in and be like, hey, I'm here. Please pay attention to me, right? So she needs a little bit of a break from that to maybe collect her pride and go back and be like, okay, great, Malchus, let me kiss your feet one more time, so nice. Yeah, and I think for this evening she's just going to, after watching the comet, she's just going to bed, doing some stretches and preparing for the terrible nightmare that is once more to come, because as we know, Nyx is always working the night shift, and even though there might not be many people around her right now, there's still plenty of nightmares that fill this forest and float around and that need to be taken care of,
Well, do you want to draw a card and tell me what you dream of? What horrors await, if they are indeed horrors? Perhaps this first night in your cave alone will bring you peace and rest. Could be happy.
It's got to take a minute because you can't just pull out a card. Give me a second.
Isn't that how it works? You just whip out a card?
No, there are rules to this, okay? There are rules to this. Also, when you see Nyx handling her cards before she goes to bed, she always, whenever she handles her cards, she always uses her right hand, but that's not the same hand she uses to throw her daggers with. So she throws her daggers with her left hand, but she pulls out her cards with her right hand, which has the ugly eye tattooed on it. And she pulls out a card. Hold up. Let's see. I have too many of those, really. Which looks like this.
Oh, how appropriate.
It is if you're only listening, it looks like a turtle that has retracted into his shell, and it has a candle, or like a little a little light source on top of the shell.
It says the Hermit.
Yeah, exactly. And it is actually a card of celebration for Nyx. It's a positive card, because obviously she appreciates the solitude and the time for herself, because there is great wisdom that can be found if you are only around yourself and nobody else. And it helps you to become more self-aware about who you are and about what you want, just like, sometimes just retracting from social life does. It also means that, and that's the candle that's on the back of the turtle, means that your inner light and your inner fire is ready to be lit and unleashed, right? It means that you are ready to shine, and that after your contemplation, you will come out stronger and with more clarity. Yeah.
Okay. So, what does that reflect in your dreams tonight? Are they dreams of being alone, or like being chased into the woods so that you have to then be a hermit, or is it more about the clarity aspect?
I think it is a dream of running. So it is always a nightmare, no matter what it is. For Nyx, it is always a nightmare. She sometimes watches somebody else having a nightmare, so she'll see a nightmare happening to somebody else, right? And she's just spectating it. I think the solitude nightmare is only happening to her.
Hmm.
And it reminds her of the night where she was standing encircled by 4 ogres. You know,
Mm-hmm.
being the only one who knew that she was by herself because the illusion she had produced looked like Iswal. But at the core of it, it was only her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just before that club comes crashing down on her, that, you know, brought her to unconsciousness, she turns around, she starts running. Back through the village and into the dark woods, and she can hear the roars and the panting of the ogres always behind her. But whenever she turns around, there's nothing there, you know. So she can always hear and feel them close, but she can't see them no matter how hard she tries.
Mm-hmm. Sounds horrifying.
And I guess at the end of the nightmare, she can feel the club coming down on her. You know, she turns around, doesn't see anything, turns back around, the club comes down on her, and she loses her consciousness in a dream and wakes up in the morning.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You wake up not well rested, but awake.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And when you step out of your hut, you can see the Comet of Verasi is gone. Or, you know, at its very trail end, almost faded entirely. And a second comet has joined the sky, this one coming to Earth instead of leaving it. Here you are in your creepy woods, all by yourself, all your friends, family, deities, somewhere else. It's just you and the ogres outside, which are sure
Lovely.
to come for you soon.
Okay. I'm gonna make myself a nice breakfast because I have brought some food.
Those dry rations, so good.
And then I'm preparing myself. I've cleaned up the cave, and this is my place where I want to spend the spring. But I have had one day of cleaning up my thoughts and gathering myself together. And I think it's time to head back to the stone house and have a talk to the dad. If you're still around, that is. I just walk in, he's not gonna be there.
Luckily, you can make your way back without any problems. No encounters on your return trip. And you find yourself arriving back at the house. And there's Malchus, still on the table, still carving the same piece of wood, although now there's like a 6-inch pile of wood carvings around him on the floor that are clearly more voluminous than the things he was carving originally. And he seems sort of pissed off and muttering under his breath.
I open the door. Close the door behind me.
He looks up. Ah, welcome, Nyx. Great to see you. Daughter of mine, how's it going?
Do you intend to clean this all up when you're leaving, or are you just gonna leave that pile of carvings behind?
Do I look like a messy man? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
What? Okay, what are you even carving? I pick up one of the carvings, I look at it.
He holds it up, and it's a dick and balls.
I drop it. You know, why did I even ask? I don't know what I thought.
Come on, it's funny. The first one I couldn't get right. The ratio was off. Anyway.
Of what? Of what? Whose is it? No, you know what? I'm not even gonna.
Whose is it? Are you looking? Are we doing shopping?
Actually, do not care.
Okay, well.
Actually, do not care.
It wasn't anybody's. I'm just,
Yeah, sure. You're not practicing for anybody in particular.
Right. It's about self-improvement. Life is a journey, Nyx, and it's about getting further than you've been. You're the only person against who you should judge yourself. My carving technique, not so great. Need to improve it. And you should find things that you're passionate about when pursuing your other passions, So if I want to get better at carving, I'm going to carve something I really want to carve.
Is there a statue of me somewhere? Did you carve me before you made me?
statue doesn't really make a lot of sense in the concept because that's only a 3-dimensional object, and you're actually like we're talking like a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-dimensional object in your true form that's just been compressed into this version. Actually, it's more like it's like 5 dimensions here, but then when we move you over here, then it like compresses down to 4 dimensions. It's a little complicated. Actually, I mean, you could really break that 5 into 6, right? Because you've got the 4 elements, and then you've got the positive and negative energy planes. Really, you're mostly positive energy, but like, you know, there's a little bit of connection to the negative energy. It's kind of
really.
it's a little bit of a mess.
I couldn't tell there was a little bit of a connection to the negative energy. Really, glad you told me.
You know, when
Is
we
it the
make
black that gave it away, or no?
You put a little pinch of this, a little pinch of that for each person. Someone, not gonna say who, might have like bumped the table, and you got a little bit closer of a connection to the negative energy plane than most humans are supposed to have. But you know, when you're making people from scratch, I'm very happy with you.
What was I supposed to be?
Exactly what you are. Yeah. Have you ever baked something, and what if you accidentally put in like a teaspoon and a half of salt instead of a teaspoon of salt, right? You're still the thing you were intended to be. No.
Yeah, but it's ruined.
No, it's not ruined. It's only an extra half of one sort of thing that it was supposed to have already. An extra half teaspoon of salt doesn't ruin the whole pastry. It might not make it what you intended. It's a variation on intent, but it's still like 99% what you wanted. You know, it's just, it would be rude to call you an accident. You're an impromptu variation on humanity.
You know, if you think that I'm flattered, you're very much mistaken, because comparing me to a pie you're baking in the kitchen is not quite flattering. Because I figured that if you're making a person, you would put in more effort than that, don't you?
We made a lot of people very quickly. Look, how many pies can you bake at a time, all right? You know how many people I made in an instant? All 5 of you. Well, plus 6 because we had to get Manfred in there, right? So 6 of you in a heartbeat, and only 1 of you mildly got altered, and that wasn't even my fault, okay? I'm not going to tell you who. Another deity of mine bumped the table while we were making you. Not my fault.
Who bumped the table?
I can't tell you that. You know, family comes first. I gotta keep their secrets. You know, we're all...
Tell me. You're the god
I'll tell you when you're older.
Care. I'm old enough. I'm like 4 months. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. You're only 4 months. You're like a little baby. Reluna did it, okay? All right? My daughter. She's just excited about things. She gets overly anxious sometimes, and overly involved. She can be a little bit... She and Ephra were having another spat, and large sweeping hand gestures. Table gets bumped. You're not even the worst mistake that happened because of that. Like, I mean, you're not even a mistake.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I got it. Don't worry about it. I know it's
Have
all
you
just
seen the
words.
gnomes? That's all I'm saying. They're weird.
Right. I love how you keep comparing me to things you find weird or that are absolutely ruined. That makes me feel very confident. It's fine. So you have one daughter who's in charge of anxiety, and then another son who's in charge of clumsiness. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know how you could think. I don't know how you could think you're an accident. You're just like me. Look at this. I love it. I love it. Couldn't be happier. In charge of anxiety. You know, passion and anxiety, they're pretty close. That like birding love is very similar to that birding anxious. They're just like, you know, half an inch over in your heart. Luna, goddess of anxiety. She's gonna love it when I tell her that. She's not gonna love it. It's actually probably gonna piss her off a lot, but it'll be fun.
That's fine. Tell her I'm just getting back at her for bumping me into the wrong direction.
Who says it's the wrong direction? You're the one putting a negative spin on this stuff.
Yeah, that's because I was spinned into the negative direction. It's not like I can do anything about it. Is it?
Would you say a person with freckles is somehow less than a person without freckles?
I mean, if the freckles cause other people to fear you so much that might eventually hang you, I would say probably.
Oh no, the people being afraid of you was never a problem. That was always intended. Yeah, that's not the nightmares or the accident part. Sorry.
Oh, I thought that goes hand in hand.
Let me tell you the grand plan that I had for you originally, Nix. You see, we needed something terrifying, someone who could use their magic and, dig deep into people's brains and shake them up at their core. But the problem is that in the process, it sort of shook you up in the core, and you're you're supposed to be connected enough that you could draw from the plane, but apparently the filter got a little bit broken, so now you have a hard time stopping drawing from this inspiration, The inspiration just leaks through unintentionally, which is why you have nightmares when you go to sleep all the time. You were originally supposed to just be able to draw that at will in, Reluna, Ephra.
Right.
Makes sense? See, so it's not a problem. It's a...
No, I'm sure it's not a problem at all.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Right. And what a feature it is. Anyways, as much as I love our deeply rooted discussions...
Uh-huh.
Okay. I might need your
Do you
help.
need to give Papa a hug?
No.
Is it okay? He, approaches you with arms out.
Oh, no. Back off.
Fine.
Please
No.
sit back. No, sit back
Takes
down.
a couple steps
please.
back.
Don't make me walk
Father-daughter
out of the door.
relationships are so hard.
It took me all day yesterday to build up the courage to come back here. If you hug me, I'll never talk to you ever again.
Okay.
Okay, great. Now that we've got this out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make a kind of a spell here.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the enchantress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's beyond her power.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently you're the greatest one around here. So
you need a little bit of help.
like that. Maybe.
I see. Should I guess at what you want, or are you gonna tell me?
Guess.
Oh. Well, I had to, roll back time and look at what you guys were doing back then. I would say you're looking for a new friend, and you need to be able to create him out of a tree. Why do you think I've been carving these things all along, huh? No?
I like the idea of a new friend. I'm not sure I want one that is penis-shaped.
No, not penis-shaped person carving from a tree. I guess I looked at the wrong moment. Clara's desperately lonely and is about to start trying to animate trees to make us friends, because no one actually ever hangs out with her. They just come to stop her at her shop and have a chat and buy something and leave her alone, and she's desperately sad and lonely. Looking at the wrong moment in time. Yeah, she's really depressed. You're looking for...
What? She's an enchantress. She can just get people to like her. It's not like me, where I'm like, oh, look at the witch.
There's a figure of speech that I'm going to coin right now. The cobbler's children wear no shoes. Does that make sense?
No, because then that has to be a real bad cobbler if he can't even, afford to make shoes for his own family. Seems like a bad tradesman to me.
It's not about can't afford to make. It's when you're so invested in something that's sort of your focus. Sometimes you lose that sort of focus for yourself. Like the therapist with the bad personal relationship. It's the the wood carver whose house is made out of stone. It's the socialite who feels lonely at home all the time. The person who goes after these things because they don't have it in their own life, or who pursue these things to the exclusion of their own needs and desires, right? She's an enchantress. She can bring things to life. She can manipulate thoughts and minds if she chooses, or enhance abilities all over the place. And yet, poor girl, trying to make a friend out of a tree. Gonna try and bring it to life. Spoilers. You don't need to hear about it.
I think that sounds pretty cool, to be honest. I've never met anybody who can do that.
Well, she can't yet. We'll see if she ever gets there. You know, she might die before it comes to fruition. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows? But you are looking for. You don't want to lose your daggers. Have you tried tying a balloon to them so that way they're easy to see?
Oh god. I hate that you know me that well.
We could bedazzle the daggers. So they'll catch the sunlight and glint back at you. No, what if it's dark? Then you couldn't find them. Okay. Well, they could be hot daggers, and then you could have some sort of infravision, and then you could see them wherever they are. Do you want some infravision? No, we'd have to take out your eyes for that. You probably wouldn't feel comfortable with that. That'd probably give you worse night. Well, you're already having nightmares. Do you want your eyes replaced so we can give you infravision and then give you warm daggers so you can always see them? No.
Is that painful?
No, not painful. I mean, half second of surprise. Yeah? Yeah. All right. We're going to need some replacement eyes.
Okay. Where are we getting those from?
Let's take a look over here. Don't want those eyes. Those are crappy eyes. Okay. You're going to have to head out other end of the valley. Head out into the plains. Out there, you're going to find these great monsters. Love them. Human form. Also wolf form. Also halfway in between. And if they bite you, sometimes you go on murdering rampages when you transform into them uncontrollably. Like 3 days out of the month. You know?
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I know. They're so fascinating. They move in small groups, eat people, sometimes turn people into their sort of version, but like accidentally, and then also they're not true versions, so then they're also like socially ostracized, and they go on murdering rampages and kill all the people they're closely attached to in their life. People that have strong emotional attachments to, positive or negative, so maybe their family, maybe the lawyer who screwed them over, whatever. The point is, these creatures are super strong, super powerful. They take like a soul and a half to make, using a standard human soul measurement. But a lot of magic in their eyes. That's what we need.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Sounds like you would need to be a massive idiot to go and even interact with these kind of people. Who would ever, in their right mind, just walk up to these people?
Well, they're a little hot-tempered and not the smartest, you know? They're,
the person walking up to them, or the...
No, the werewolves. The werewolves. That's what we call them.
Werewolves. As in people if they were wolves. Is that where it comes from?
Yeah. Like Weirman, werewolf, we're here.
Right. Got it.
Language isn't my strong suit. Sorry, I didn't.
But I need those eyes to replace mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just need one werewolf, and you need to pop out his eyes. And don't feel bad about it. Yeah.
But I'm not sure that's something I can do by myself right now.
Totally. You just got to get one alone, which isn't too difficult to do. They usually move in a group, but I'm sure you'll find a way to lure one off on its own and pluck out its eyes. You'll need a silver dagger for that. I think I can give that to you because it's non-magical, he says, and he reaches behind his back and just pulls out a silver dagger and sits it on the table. I think I can get away with this. As long as you don't sell it. If you sell it, it'll just like vanish from in front of you.
Why would I sell it? It's a silver dagger.
Yeah, why? We have a pact. Only supposed to help people so far. Mostly supposed to guide. Not supposed to overly empower, you know?
Okay. I'm gonna cut you off right there. We fought... I'm not sure if you're aware, but I'm pretty sure you noticed that the ogres overran part of the valley, yeah?
Yeah, and you guys did a pretty good job. They were gonna destroy everything, and you managed to fight them off, give them a battle that they could... You guys, I don't know if you knew this, but the ogres really love victory. So, like, beating you guys was the victory they needed. They didn't like need to destroy everything in their path. They just need to win a couple of battles. So you killed some of them, they killed some of you. You gave them something to fight over, and that consumed them and their energy, and now they didn't need to overrun the whole valley. It worked out so well. And you all survived. Look at that.
Yes, but okay. Just before the battle started, Vorasi killed one of her ogres, and she blessed the others by doing so with a rage like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
How is that not meddling?
Oh, well, that was an ogre sacrificing themselves to empower their friends, through clerical magic. Yeah, that, because one ogre gave something else up to empower. If you want to give up your life, we can get you. We can give your friends some stuff. Or if you want to go like on a secret murder spree and just start taking halflings fee, or just start killing people in the streets and then use that death to power your own magical abilities, we can get you some good stuff. But there has to be some sort of effort on your part, or some sort of sacrifice on someone's part in order to call in the additional magic, right? I can't just hand you a burning sword, but if you murder a bunch of people in my name, specific people, then you've earned the reward. And it's a complicated. You're only currently a 3-dimensional creature. You wouldn't really understand it.
Right. Well, all I can say is that I strongly believe that halflings' feet are the inferior of fetishes out there. I strongly do believe that cards are way more powerful in, embodying magic. So,
no,
as
you're 100%
a wizard
right,
myself, I don't think that is something that is worth pursuing. But if it is something other people want to do, I'll leave it up to them, because I'm not one to judge. But it surely is not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me either. My son's into that stuff,
A little weird if you ask me. A little weird. But I don't know.
I mean, you'll never know,
because
because you're not going to have kids. But if you ever do
what
have,
do you mean I'm not gonna have kids?
Oh, you're never having children. Yeah, I can see the future. Why? Because you just won't. It'll just never come for you. Sorry, it's probably a spoiler for your life, but you're
kind of a okay.
You're never gonna have children.
Anything else I need to know?
God, I probably shouldn't even have said that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. What I'm trying to say is that if you ever had kids, you would realize that they don't always come out the way that you expected them. And sometimes your son has a weird foot fetish. And he's your son, so you gotta love him through it anyway.
For not having kids then,
Yeah.
At least that is one load off my back. I was worrying about that all day.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Never gonna happen for you.
Okay, well, as nice as it sounds.
I mean, unless you have cats, or you summon children from afar for you. Though that's not what I meant by children, though. I meant biology, growing things naturally, chucking them out, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, listen, as much as I enjoy this talk, and I'm absolutely not close to having a massive migraine right now, I will keep it in mind with the werewolves. But I'm also not suicidal. I've almost been killed about a week ago. As much as enticing that is, if I'll ever come across a werewolf, I will promise to cut his eyes out quicker than I can blink.
Good. But
there's nothing I can do right now. Right now, is there no other way? Is there no way to bring something back to me? I mean, you bring stuff all the time, don't you? Where did you get all that wood? I doubt you logged it in from the forest, did you?
No, I cheated. I just made it appear. Yeah, I mean, there's daggers that we could enchant magically so that you throw them and then they return to your hand immediately. I just think that's a lot less.
Why did you not suggest that in the first place?
Because eyes that see glowing daggers in the night is just so much more interesting than just they return to your hand when you throw them. But we can do that. I know it's more optimal and more useful.
Okay, listen me out. If I had daggers that would magically, reappear in my hand, I'd have a much easier time taking out those werewolves and getting the glowing eyes.
Yeah.
I feel like you're really missing the steps in between here.
I feel like you're worrying about the destination, and I'm worrying about the journey.
It's exactly the other way around. What are you talking about?
You just want the It's fine. It's fine. I shouldn't.
You just
argue
want
with
the
the
werewolf
children.
eyes.
I just really like the idea of seeing things that glow warm, and then, you know.
It is a great idea. We'll keep it around. It's not going to disappear. How am I making things appear in my hand?
Okay. All right. Daggers that return to you upon throwing. We can do this. We can do this. But as I said before, prices have to be paid. I have to send you off on some like holy quest that's worthy of doing this. You know, and the other gods will come around.
Don't make it too holy, please. You know, it's just doesn't feel right. Do I need to kneel? Can we do it without the kneeling part?
You can do it without the. There's no kneeling. You're not a cleric. You're not bowing down and scraping to me. You know.
It's not like you would like that sometimes. I know. Don't give me that look. I know.
All right. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves here and get you one holy quest. Right. Holy moly, guacamole. Bring me some daggers of returning. Yada yada. All right. So there's this lake. Huge lake. Separates the elves. You haven't met them yet. They're douchebags of a different kind. All hoity-toity, self-empowered, live for 1,000 years. You know, oh, look at we're the chosen ones of a star. Puts all of his work into one species, and then like they only have kids every like 400 years, and they live like 1,000 years, so they're like super strong, but there's like not a lot of them. All we gotta do is like, sorry, getting distracted. Side topic.
Who's this there again?
God of order and like law. And like keeping everything in a row, making sure it all works perfectly, no derivations. He's a freaking communist and a fascist at the same time. You wouldn't even believe it. It's the worst of both worlds.
I bet that's your favorite part of the family, isn't it?
Oh God, he's such a douchebag. You should hear him at the family dinners. Anyway, there's this lake. You head east, maybe a little bit north. You get to a lake, right? Bottom of this lake. There's going to be, I love caves. I don't know if you've noticed about me yet, but I love caves. There's a cave underwater, but there's air in the cave, right? And at the back of the cave, there's a pair of daggers. You throw them, they come back to you, right? There's 2 of them. It's a set pair, matching pair.
Okay.
But in between you and the daggers is a challenge, which I will leave you to discover on your own. It might be in the valley, might be in Acropolis, might be in the plains, might be at the water itself.
Yeah, well, I don't mean to spoil the big surprise, but I can tell you what the challenge is, because I can't swim.
Well, this is also another challenge you will be facing. How can you get to the underwater cave? And trust me, there's a solution. It's super obvious, plain as day, you know, but you're gonna have to figure it out yourself. You can do this. I've given you all of the tools and all of the knowledge you need for this thing. You already have it. You just gotta do it.
You entirely forgot that I can't swim, didn't you?
The swimming is not the problem. It's the breathing underwater that's the problem. I've said too much.
Great. Fantastic. Well, I am incredibly grateful for your wonderful input and that great quest you have laid upon me in all of your glory and holiness. Moving on. Flattering. I'll see you around.
This is why I love humans. So irreverent. Irreverent. You know, ogres, if you were an ogre, you'd be like, oh, mighty Malchus, give me the power to slay my enemies. If you were an elf, you'd be like, oh, we thank you for your service and your gifts. Yes. Humans are like, fuck you, deity. You didn't make me the way I wanted to be made. And just like have a temper tantrum. I love them. You guys are the best.
In the middle of his speech, I'm going to do 3 bows and I'll slowly back out of the door. And then just as his voice gets quiet, I just slam the door shut again.
You leave the jolly man to himself in the house and begin your trek.
And I guess we're going. Wait, I actually need a map for this.
Well, look at Roll20. There's a map.
I am looking at it. So he said it's to the east and then north, but I've only been to Acropolis, and then so I need to walk out of Acropolis and into the plain somehow.
That seems to track
God
logically.
damn. I guess we have to go back to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then figure out a way to make it into the plains from there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, it's not hard to get to the town. You can stop along the villages on the way. You guys are the defenders of the valley, even though you haven't really defended anything in a while, but people don't know that, so they happily give you food and lodging. And
Lovely.
2 days later, you can make it back to Acropolis. Is there anything in town you want to do before you set out into the plains and search for the lake?
I'm totally going to stop by Clara's place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You swing on by, open the door. There's the ringing of bells up top, and I'll be right there. And a few moments later, she pops out of the back room and looks surprised to see you and says, "Oh, Nyx, welcome back.
Hey.
How can I help you?"
I was just going to check in on how you're doing.
Never happier.
I think you're lying. How can you be never happier if you are have this huge problem of thieves around?
Well,
you might be an enchantress, but you're not a very good liar. I have to say that.
It's an accurate statement. It's always been this bad ever since the world was created 3 months ago. Never been happier. Ain't that a bitch?
I can kind of feel that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, followed your advice. Talk to Marcus. Terrible idea, but I guess, it is what it is. Clara, I'm going to level here with you. I don't know anybody in this entire town. No, and I really don't want to make any friends, and I don't want to get acquainted with funny people, and I don't want to sit in a tavern, have a beer, and having to spend my time with a bunch of people I don't want to talk to ever again. And you're probably the most interesting and the nicest person I've met so far, so I'm really sorry if I'm taking up all your working time, but I don't even know where I'm going with this.
That makes 2 of us.
I can't swim. Apparently, there's this underwater cave that I need to go to, and I can't swim. And I can't breathe underwater, which is apparently something you need to do when you're exploring underwater caves. So who would have thought?
I see.
Do you have any experience with underwater breathing?
I do. I actually do have a water breathing spell specifically for these sorts of things. There's a minor problem. It gives you gills when it's cast on you, and they disappear when you start breathing air again. So you kind of need to be near the water to use it. I don't suppose it's this river right here that you need to breathe in.
I mean, he said that there's a lake that separates the elves from the humans. No idea what place he's talking about. And he said the cave is somewhere there, and I need to get there. Is that related? Is that connected to this river somehow? Or
Nope, no lakes along this river. Okay. Well, I do have a smattering of potions. I do have 1 potion of water breathing. But I am loath to part with it without some sort of return.
Some sort of return.
On investment. Because it's not something you can lend, right? If I'm going to give you one of my very, very few potions that I spawned with.
It's a lovely expression. I like that.
What could I get in return? What would be equal or actually greater than a potion that you could offer?
Well, that is 2 of us who wonder and ponder this question. What is a potion of water breathing worth to you? Is there nothing you want? You always just wait for people to waltz in and make offers to you.
it's hard to start making requests because there are so many things that one might want in life, and it's hard to, if I asked you for obscene amounts of wealth, you might not have that. Or if I ask for, tracts of land or rare gemstones, these are the I could go on an endless list, and you would just be like, I don't have that, I don't have that, I don't have that, and so forth and so on. And it's just easier to let people make offers of things that they have access to than to.
Okay, I'll make you an offer then. How about dinner at my place?
Dinner at your place?
Yeah. Have you ever been to a witch's cave of nightmares?
I have never. No.
Well,
to be
I can
honest,
tell you that there are very few people out there who have.
To be honest, I've never actually left the town. And
Seems a little bit boring, doesn't it?
Haven't eaten outside of my own home yet.
I am quite the accomplished cook, It's kind of a secret, so I'd appreciate if you wouldn't talk about it, Otherwise, the others are just gonna make me cook all day, but I can make a decent dinner.
Make a check over here. Okay. Oh, I see. She kind of pats her hair and combs it back momentarily in a bit of confusion. Super surprised about this offer. Well, I promise not to tell anyone that you are a self-proclaimed very fine cook. If you promise to never tell anyone and let a potion go for this sort of offer.
Okay. Deal. I reach one hand across the counter. The one with the one without the hand, the eye on it. The one without the tattoo. The
You
plain left
reach
hand.
your left hand across the table?
I'm left-handed.
Oh. She awkwardly reaches with her left hand as well and shakes it and then says, so when's dinner? Is that tonight?
Well, it does take 2 days to make it back to my cave, but we could close up and make our way there. You want to grab some stuff from the market?
Why don't you grab stuff from the market while I close up shop? And I guess if it takes 2 days to head that way, then we'll spend 2 days heading that way.
Excellent. I'll grab some stuff. If you hear any shouting or yelling, maybe come outside to see if they have decided to burn me just yet, But otherwise, I'll meet you at the marketplace.
Very well. She quickly goes to follow you out the door, and you can hear the bolt locking behind her, and then the mad scramble of putting things away while you head out into the town to grab. I don't know what you need. What are you making for dinner?
Jeez. I think we're gonna roast. I need to make something that I'm capable of making in a cave. So I'm gonna roast some root vegetables, and then I'm gonna put some. Let's do something since it just only happened. Let's do something Thanksgiving related. So we're gonna grab a turkey. I'm gonna roast that on the spit in my cave, and we're gonna make some mashed potatoes, and try our hands on a pumpkin pie.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and we're gonna buy the cranberry sauce pre-made because apparently that's the tradition. So as far as I've understood, you're not allowed to make the cranberry sauce yourself. So I'm gonna buy that already done. That's how it is, apparently.
Some people feel very strongly about that. It needs to have the lines of the can and everything. I am not one of those people. I think they're weird.
I already saw that on the internet recently. I didn't know that was a thing. So I was just like, okay.
It's sort of a thing. We have a friend who intentionally set out this year to make cranberry sauce like you would find in a can with the full jelly form and everything. She's a special one. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you and Clara can head back to the cave.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a 2-day walk back to the cave.
Mhm.
This is the longest pre-dinner walk that you're ever gonna have.
Well, I mean, it has to be worth it, you know. It's for like a magical potion, so the dinner is technically also lunch on the way, if you think about it. You
It's
know?
a couple of breakfasts, couple of lunches, couple of dinners, then the big dinner. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
love it.
it's also it's not like she had anything important to do. And if a shop is at least entirely barred and closed up, then chances that somebody's going to try to rob her are rather slim, you know.
That's true.
So,
Well, she closes it up. You guys can head on your journey. And I think, considering the newness of this companionship, we should probably at least touch on the journey from Acropolis back
hmm
to the cave.
hmm
Um, so let's, you know what? We're actually right on the hour. Why don't we take our break right here while
Sure.
I go try and process these upcoming session sections? See you guys on the other side of the break. Bye.